Dramas here on the track. The women's 5,000 metre field are out there, 17 in this one. The meeting record? Well, there isn't one. There's never been a 5,000 held at this meeting before. Let's have a look at some of these athletes. So there are pacemakers, of course. Wudu on the outside, Hailu inside of her. Lemlem Hailu, world indoor champion back in 2022 over 3,000 metres. Chebet, well, Beatrice Chebet, silver medalist over 5,000 metres a couple of years ago. Number 3 all-time, Chisegai in Eugene Diamond League last year with a best of 14:05. 14 minutes surely is going to go this year. Taye, 5th in the Tokyo 5,000 metres back in 2021. She was 3rd in the 10,000 metres last year. She's very strong and she's fast. 14:12 she has run. Taye makes her the 8th fastest in history over 12.5 laps. And Alemashete, the world number 1 this year with 14:36. Did that a couple of weeks ago in Suzu in the 2nd Diamond League meeting of the season. Pacemaker will be Chet Kwemoy, who Ugandan, just 17 years old, was a World Under-20 Championship finalist. They are looking for 14:30 pace. That would be take them down to the fastest time in the world this year. It is 14:36 by Alemashete. The Ethiopians, by the way, dominate the world rankings in this discipline in these early meetings of this Olympic season. Toes behind the line, please, ladies. It's a pretty straightforward request. So, Chef Kwemoy is a late replacement as a pacemaker. It was supposed to have been Christine Njoki. She was meant to be out there, take them out at about 70 seconds per lap, 2:54 per kilometre. What can this youngster do? Quite a responsibility at the age of 17. She's not the youngest in the race. There's a 15-year-old out there, Elsabet Amare of Ethiopia, just 15 years old. Has only just broken 16 minutes, but I guess she's there's a confidence that she carries an awful lot of potential as I go through there. A little bit quick, maybe 4.5 seconds. Actually, to be fair, pretty much spot on. Taye right at the back of the field there. Has obviously taking these early laps nice and steadily, and of course they are running up the back straight now. 300 metres done into quite a strong headwind. Just looking at the flags to their right, to the left of picture, and they're standing out very, very stiffly on their poles as they go through 400 metres there. Yeah, about 69.5 seconds. We were looking at 70 per lap. So that's good pacemaking for the youngster Lois Chep Kwemoy.
Yeah, sticking with the lights. The lights set the green ones at around 14:30 place. And I know 102, or I'm told that 102 wanted it a bit quicker than that. There's a lot of young Ethiopian talent in this. Aisa, perhaps the one that many people think could win this. But when you look at someone like Beatrice Chebet, I mean, one of my favourite races in recent years was that 5,000 metre final in Eugene and World Championships when she got so close to beating Sigai. And Chebet is locked in straight away to the pace here in 2nd place, whereas the others just sitting back a little bit. Aisa would have been rewarded with that big 2-mile win indoors had she not been disqualified in New York when Laura Muir won the race. It was a great race with Laura Muir, and I think she's got the ability, cross-country, road, track, to develop into a very, very good athlete. Looks comfortable there. What does she tip? About 6th place at the moment.
Well, Steve, I was in Addis Ababa back in November, and I went to the early morning training sessions at Sululta at the running track there at about 6:30 in the morning. At about 7 o'clock, they all started arriving in their cars and minibuses, and a couple of hundred people were disgorged onto the track and got on with their training in big groups, runners, men and women, and they're producing great runners on an industrial scale in Addis Ababa. It's a real challenge for the rest of the world to deal with, because frankly, they're producing youngsters, 15, 17-year-olds, and plenty of other teenagers who are world-class again and again and again every year. Haile Gebrselassie said to me he doesn't recognise the sport now. He used to know all these athletes. 2:53 that first K. Well, we were looking for 2:48, so it slowed a little bit there. Looking for 2:54 rather. That is a good pacemaking, the first 1,000.
Yeah, 2:48 would be very quick, but the whole kind of group there, just enjoying this for the moment. I mean, it's hard work at this pace, of course it is, but you got Wudu, who's gone in, I mentioned that 2-mile race in New York. She actually came away with the world under-20 record in that race because of being disqualified. But Taya, the more experienced in the open, first time we've seen her outdoors this year, so she's slotted in there as well. Really interesting to see whether her experience, championships in the past, whether she's going to be able to hold off some of this great new talent. Remember, Gidai couldn't even finish it to win the race in the Diamond League in China a couple of weeks ago, with the two teammates ahead of her, young teammates. So what talent they've got coming through. There's the athlete I was just talking about there, Ella Machete, just moving up on the outside after that big win against Gidai.
9 laps to go, then another 69.8. Really good pacemaking by the youngster Chep Kamoy. Long way to go yet in that 5,000.
Well, this is it for Nina Kennedy. Molly Caudry's had her 3 attempts, couldn't go higher. Can the world champion snatch it at the last here? No, it didn't look likely. It was a good clearance at 63.73, but she knew that she was hoping by putting the bar up, could somehow find a clearance, but not to be. So it'll be the Brit who wins again. Molly Caudry setting her stall out as a real medal contender come the summer. Well, it is the summer, isn't it? Come August at the Olympic Games. So Kennedy settles for 2nd place after that first-time failure all the way back at 53, and that was the telling miss. So Caudry was clean up to that final height of 483.
Metronomic running so far by Lois Chepkomoy. She's doing a really good job here. If she's not careful, she's going to become a regular pacemaker, the 17-year-old. Chebet in 2nd place. The silver medalist in Eugene back in 2022 of 5,000. She's the 3rd fastest athlete in history. She's a former world under-20 champion at 5,000 metres, Beatrice Chebet. And looks very comfortable there in that orange chop. Taye in 3rd place. Tall, high knee lift, galloping along, almost sits back a little bit in that stride. So first race of 2024 at Taye, but her 14.12 personal best was a couple of years ago now at the Diamond League in Eugene in May 2022. Chepkomoy has done a grand job. She really has. The youngster pulls aside there. 2:54 that 2nd kilometre, almost identical to the first. She's set it up wonderfully, but Chebet there now to be shot down. What does she do, Steve? Does she push on strongly here and just act as a pacemaker through this middle section?
Well, I think it's certainly noticeable, as you mentioned, that Chebet Tay, their first time we're seeing them come out and race against a few of these youngsters who've already had a good few races under their belt, be it road, cross country or track. Yet they're at the front. Just watch the lights. As soon as the pacemaker stepped off, and you're right, she did a great job. Those lights are just creeping ahead. So Chebet has either got to make a decision to keep this pace going or be happy at the front. And to me, if you're not really pushing at the front, then let somebody else do it. So Chebet is leading, but not really hurting them at the moment. She's not trying to get ahead of the pace.
Well, she might be happy for if it slows a little bit here. Nobody comes past her. She can build up psychologically and physically for that big kick over the last lap or two. But Chebet, Taye, Wudu, Alamashete, a group of Ethiopians breathing down the neck of Chebet. 3rd quickest in history. She goes through here, and I don't know if she's winding it up, but she's lost the lead to Taye, who maybe felt it was slackening a little bit. In her first race of the year, Taye here, 14.12, she ran in Eugene a couple of years back. She's an 8.19 3,000-metre runner, is Edgegayahu Taye. She's very, very fast, great speed endurance, looks calm and relaxed there in front, doesn't she? And she's slowed it, actually, because they're bunching behind her. Chebet in 2nd place, Steve, presumably relatively happy that nobody else has come past her. She hasn't got sucked into a big pack. That's 69-second lap again. Taye, she's got a lovely sort of galloping style, hasn't she, with those high knees, lovely looking mover.
Yeah, she doesn't have the best kick, and I think that's why, she wants to keep this pace on. She knows how quick some of these youngsters are behind Wudu, Ayese, Alamashete. if you go and have a look at what did she do before this year when she's burst on the scene, you cannot find anything. You know, she's new, and when you've got that raw talent with no fear either, you know, you've got no benchmarks. Ayasa's on the inside, still looks comfortable in about 6 at the moment. So all of this great young talent behind the 2 experienced athletes. But Taya and Chebet are going to have to force this a bit harder for me. I'm not sure this is quick enough at the moment to really hurt them and to break this group up. There's still a good few laps to go, of course there is, and this is the part of the race where it starts to hurt. We all know that, but you've got to keep some good pace on here to really mean that it doesn't just develop into a big sprint over the last 600.
Well, it's going to hurt. They're coming towards 3,000 metres now, 5 laps to run, and this leading group all look pretty comfortable to me. Tai takes them through in 8:43. A few years back, that would have been a world-class time for 3,000 metres. It's fairly run-of-the-mill these days, even during the 5,000 metres. But I wonder if this will push Tai into an acceleration. It was Chebet sits in 2nd place in that orange and blue strip. Wudu in 3rd place, looking pretty comfortable at the moment. Twice World Under-20 Championship silver medalist. She's still only 19. She had a wonderful indoor season, did Wudu, in 3rd place. Ran 8:32 twice in the USA, and then was 3rd in the All-Africa Games, 5,000 metres. Back in March in 15:07. That was a slow, tactical race. This pack just beginning to get away now, because the pace is still pretty respectable. They were looking for, 8:48, something like that at 3,000 metres. They went through an 8:43, so Tai has kept it honest. I think it's because she's tall, and she's such a gorgeous-looking runner in the way she moves that she looks relaxed. It's deceptive.
Yeah, 4 laps to go, and the pack has broken up, but the main contenders are all still there, and still looking reasonably comfortable, most of them. The lights are disappearing as the pace just drops. Another 71-second lap there, and I think Tai is now just trying to stretch it. She realised, I've just let this drop a little bit, now I'm going to start hurting them, because he does not want this big sprint at the end here. Chebet's got pace, Ayasa's got pace, Wudu as well, and then now the gap's all of a sudden to the others.
Well, I think you're right, Steve. I think probably if Taye saw it, that 71.2 clocking for that lap with a mile to go. It was the slowest lap of the race. The first time it's gone outside 70 seconds, 71.2. And now she's just beginning to lengthen that stride a little bit, trying to ask questions of Chebet and Asa and Wudu in 4th place. But you just wonder which of them, maybe none of them, maybe all of them, are pretty comfortable here as she continues to act as a pacemaker. It seems seemingly a willing pacemaker, Ejgehu Taye. She is experienced, we know that. She's got plenty of great racing under her belt. Remember, she was 5th in Tokyo over 5,000. She's strong too over 10,000 metres last year. She ran 29.57. She's one of that select group of athletes who have gone under 30 minutes on the track for 10,000 metres. And these 5 now are getting further and further away. The gaps behind them are growing pretty quickly.
This is a good effort from the experienced Ethiopian in front. Taye having to do this, having to try and just get rid of them one by one. Hambesa, who's running way inside anything she's ever done before, is hanging on at the back there. And then Wudu and Asa, these 2 brilliant youngsters, just behind Chebet, who still looks pretty comfortable. Chebet, the Kenyan, with her season opener here, getting a toe round with 1,000 metres left to run. 3 Ethiopians, actually 4 Ethiopians, as we still have 3. You can say that's still a group of 5, although the back, that little gap is just beginning to tell there. But Taye doing her best tip, but she's really got to try and put her foot down on this next 400 if she can.
Absolutely right. They come into the straight now and they'll see 2 laps to go. Taye has got to keep the faith. Push hard on this penultimate lap as she goes through with 2 laps to run, but save a little for the final circuit. It's a fine balance. She's got to get it right here. She is beginning to test them. One athlete just beginning to drop off the back of the pack there. I think it's Hambese, who is finding it a little tough. Yes, it is. Hambese there has had enough. So if Taye could see that, and maybe she'll see it if she looks up at the big screen now, she comes into the back straight with a lap and 3/4 to run, she'll know that she's getting some reward for this hard work. She still looks deep in concentration. Doesn't really look like she's straining. She looks calm. But is she actually, is it deceptive? Is she pretty much flat out? And she's lost another one too. It's Wudu who's dropped back. She's getting her reward for this hard work from the front. It's late reward. She's still got 2 dogging her heels with just over 500 to run. Can she lose another one?
Well, those 2 behind her, if I talk about those couple of races I mentioned earlier, Chebet chasing down Sigai, great 1500-metre runner. Ayesa beating Laura Muir in a kick indoors, great 1500-metre runner. Taye must be aware of that. Yes, they are tired, and she's trying to make them as tired as she can, but now as they enter the last lap, surely the speed of the other 2 may come to tell here.
The bell is time then. 13:26 at the bell. Surely the meeting record is going to be shattered here. Indeed, the world best is likely to be broken as Taye heads into the last 300. The Kenyans screaming for Chebet. The Ethiopians in the crowd roaring on Taye and Ayesa here as Taye tries to wind it up another notch, and she gets a little gap there. Ayesa behind her in 3rd place has had enough. Chebet tries to go through on the inside, is frustrated as the door is shut, and then with 200 to run, hits the front, changes gear, and oh, this was so predictable. Chebet, Beatrice Chebet, she's a 14:05 performance. She's going to run something like 14:30 here. It's been a dramatic acceleration from the Kenyan Beatrice Chebet at the age of 24. World Championship silver medalist outdoors in 2022, the 3rd fastest athlete in history, has blown away the opposition, including the race-long leader here, to take the win in 14:26. It's the fastest time in the world this year. There was no meeting record, that is now the meeting record, and it's a formidable one. And it's all down, frankly, to the brilliant front-running efforts of the eventual 2nd placer, Ejgehu Taye. She worked so hard, she sets a season's best in 2nd place, but some 2.5 seconds down, and that all opened up in the last 150. Beatrice Chebet, unanswerable there through the last couple of 100 metres. She was frustrated as she tried to go through on the inside with 200 to run. That door was shut by Taye, went round the outside and bang, she was gone. And very, very few athletes have that ability to change gear so dramatically.
Well, as he said, Tim, was always likely to happen. Taye knew that one of them would have that pace, so they're just so quick. You're right, she made the move down the back straight there. Well, I'm going to make you run wide. Moved out. Chebet had a little look on the inside. Taye shut the door very, very quickly to that, but that wasn't going to stop. There's the closing off. She wanted to try and make Chebet run wide round the bend, and Chebet wasn't having any of it. And then after that, that's it. She's gone. She's got such good pace, really rangy stride for such a diminutive athlete, and generates such good pace. Around about 2:45 last kilometre, and a lot of that was in the last lap there, Tim. Really good performance from Chebet. She's going to be able to take on, the Sigais and the others when it comes to the Olympic Games. When you get to the Olympic Games, there's no pacemakers, there's no lights. You have to have that kick.
And frankly, she won that easily, didn't she? It's fastest time in the world this year, 14:26, and by nearly 10 seconds. And Taye, the best of the Ethiopians behind her. Indeed, 6 Ethiopians from 2nd to 7th behind Beatrice Chebet here tonight. But that was quite spectacular, and that is something that boosts your confidence dramatically as we go into this outdoor season.